Hello, thank you for joining us with Trinity Competitive Racing. This is the gold class at the Singapore Grand Prix round 6 of the season. My name is Perry the Dog. I'm joined by my co-host Sir Charles. And Charles, we have a dry race tonight at Singapore. We talked a little bit about we almost never see that, and instead this time we have a dry race with 11 guys here in the gold class.
Yeah, these guys, they're definitely lucky. This race is usually, it's going to be chaotic no matter what happens here. It's Singapore. It always seems to be a bit of a thunderdome, if you will. For whatever reason, even other street circuits like Baku or Monaco, it seems like this is where a lot of incidents seem to happen. Guys get mad at each other. Might not see as much of that here for a smaller grid tonight, but there's certainly to be a lot of action. And what this does happen, since it's a dry race, it does open up a lot of strategy options. We'll probably see a few guys starting on softs, a few guys starting on mediums. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting strategy takes here, I'd imagine, at the start of this race.
Yeah, as we hop on board, one of the first drivers to get out of the pit lane and onto the racing circuit here at Singapore, D'Angelo on a lap in his papaya orange McLaren, completing sector 2 in a little bit over a minute. And
Hey, purple sector, look at that.
exactly.
Oh, he just invalidated.
Yes, he did. It's pretty early still, but yeah, we've only got 11 guys tonight as of now. We might get a few more joining in qualifying, hopefully, but that should provide still, close racing throughout, regardless of how many people you guys have, or you have in a race. I mean, I know I've had plenty of fun with 7 or 8 guys in a lobby, so we should still have a good race on our hands as we'll jump on board. You having a giggle in the Alfa Romeo.
Oh. And it looks like, in math, I want to call him Namath for some reason. I don't know, I'm not even a Jets fan, but so I keep on wanting to call him. He invalidated in the last turn before, he didn't even get to start his lap. He invalidated before he started his lap. That's unfortunate for him. But I will say with a smaller grid, I would imagine, if I was one of these guys, I would maybe risk trying to do, maybe starting on mediums more, because usually around this track, at least in race scenarios, softs just don't last, but you'll see a lot of guys qualify on softs just for track position, as if you having a giggle, sets the first lap of the day. 39.2, to expect the guys to get down quite a bit faster than that before the end of the session, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these guys are encouraged to start on the mediums just because, less cars, less chaos, and less likely to be caught way back in the pack.
For sure, that should open up the strategies as we see Bam Bam in the Mercedes on the medium tire as he heads down to turn 10. This section, prior to, I believe, 2013 was called the Singapore Sling. The chicane has been moved a little bit further back, a little bit harder of a corner. Then he heads into the turn 13.
Curbs are not nearly as high.
Hairpin. No, it is not, but it's
not a ramp anymore.
It's still a tricky spot as well. As he heads into Connie at turn 14. Strong lap so far from Bam Bam on those medium tires. As he heads into a very technical sector 3 where it's in the race it'll be mostly single file, but here's where you can make and break a lot of time. Rockstar tips the scales at P1.
Yeah, I'd imagine, I'd say pole time would probably be somewhere around a low 36 if I had to guess. We'll see though. It'll be interesting. I will say it was at on Monday, Got Palmer, silver driver, albeit he does use some assists, I believe. He managed to put in a 35.1, which is a blistering lap. Of course, we had wet qualifying last night, so we didn't get to really see that pace, but fast times certainly are possible. These guys are using, again, no assists, aside from a few guys are using racing line. That's the only assist allowed in the gold class. And this is certainly a technical track that can come out and bite you really at any turn.
Yeah, anywhere, any little mistake, it's amplified. Of course, not as bad as Monaco, but still very easy to catch yourself out. As Didor on his fast lap on the medium tire, entering that third sector. Went purple sector 2 on the map, so we'll see if that is very accurate or not. But actually, his time is pretty far. He's going to be quite a ways down the order, I believe, if he does decide to. Yeah, so.
Rico John also invalidated. Ray Magic appears to have invalidated. Oh, he hasn't invalidated, but he's going really slow there in Sector 1 for some reason. Despicable Angelo's on another lap. He's coming through over the bridge into the tight hairpin here. Another thing to keep an eye out as he goes a little bit deep in the hairpin there, but another thing to keep an eye out too is that this is probably the longest race we'll do all season. A lot of laps, but very slow speeds as well. Like the track itself isn't that long, but the lap time is. So, mental strength is going to be something that's going to be really tested for these drivers tonight, just because it's such a long race, especially if we have a couple safety cars in there. Like I said, thankfully it's not wet. That's probably a good thing. These cars are probably glad because this race is long enough as it is. But we get a long stretch of green flag running.
It's going to be a great lap for D'Angelo. Comes around the final corner, checks in at P1. A couple hundreds faster than Rockstar. Close times at the top.
They're only just halfway through the qualifying session. Usually only get one set of mediums for qualifying, which is why I would suspect that some of these guys are not out qualifying just yet, unless some of them are deciding to say set of softs. But like I said, softs generally aren't used. Let's see if Metwary Magic does anything. He goes P3. Still a ways off the top two there.
Nico John dives into the pits, gives up on his lap time as well. Look at Ray Magic right now. He's just starting his lap.
He just set another lap.
He just finished the lap. Yeah.
So he's probably on a cooldown lap. Bam Bam. He's got 2 laps. I don't know if he's trying to set a fast lap here. I'd imagine he might be on a. Just looking at the time, I think he's going to dive into the pits here. If I had to guess, and he does. I think he went for it that lap, but decided it wasn't worth it.
We've got Godnany Weeb now. He's heading down the long DRS straight, one of the few passing opportunities you have at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. He goes purple for Sector 1, but then runs wide. Yes, invalidates. Do want to take a look at our point standings and talk through that. Of course, a noticeable driver missing from this small group is Warriors, who has been in the lead and has quite a healthy lead heading into this race. Of course, he's got 2 wins at Italy, Monza in Britain, and then also a second place finish at Imola, and then also took 9th in Austria for a few points there. You got TJ, who we're riding on board of now. He's in second in the points, 1 point ahead of Fireflow, who is looking to make it back-to-back wins after his triumph in the Red Bull Ring.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top here with Warriors absent. I'll look for some guys, maybe like someone like TJ, who, might be looking to maybe nab his first win. Godnany Weeb, he's been on the podium so many times in several different classes, still looking for his first win. One thing I will say about the strict corner cutting, going back to that, as TJ, he invalidated it on the last. Speaking of strict corner cutting, that's a good segue, and Warriors has joined apparently, so we might see him for the race. So that could, forget what I just said, but anyway. Strict corner cutting. The way to get a fast lap in around here is to really just ride the curbs as much as possible, and that can make qualifying really tricky. It won't be much of an issue during the race, but also I will say, there are a couple spots where kind of like the invisible line. Like I said, going into turn 5 on Sector 1, and there's a spot right at the beginning of Sector 3 where if you cross over this invisible line, it'll give you a warning, so do expect a few penalties tonight for corner cutting, even though it's a street circuit.
I will say like you said, we had TJ invalidated in the final corner. Then I think we had Got Any Weeb invalidate in the final corner on back-to-back. Now we've got NMath invalidating as I'm on board. Every single person I jump on board invalidates their lap.
Yeah, it's kind of been. We only have 5 guys who set times so far. And I think most of the guys, I know I was saying maybe they'd be saving their tires. I think most of the guys have been out on track at least once. It's just everyone's invalidating. Like I said, to get a really good qualifying lap in here, you have to be really aggressive on the curbs and nail your lines perfectly. As Got Any Weeb's going to go for another lap on his mediums.
All right, we're going to jump on board of Didor. Sorry for jumping in front of you, Sir Charles there. Got the S section in Sector 1 into Turn 3. Good exit for Didor. This is a tough braking zone into Turn 5. You've got to get a good exit to get down that DRS straight. Pretty conservative there for Didor in the Alpine. He's got DRS open. Little kink here in Turn 6, but it's flat out. Then you head down to Turn 7. Careful you don't run wide here. Didor nails it. Tight Turn 8. And then into Turn 9, you've got another straight coming up in the 3rd or 4th gear. Runs a bit wide there. Couldn't get the front to lock down. And then we head into Turn 10, what I guess you could still call the Singapore Sling. Didor hugs that inside line, huts that curve quite well into the Turn 13 hairpin.
Nicked the wall there on the entry. I'm not sure if he has wing damage or not. But
I think he's still pushing on as he heads over the bridge and into Turn 14 to begin the 3rd and final sector of this quite lengthy street circuit in Southeast Asia. Heading now towards Turn 18 into the Bay section. A lot of spectator areas here in Turn 3 right along what becomes the Indian Ocean. A huge corner cut cost him his lap. As well as, he will dive into the pits in front of turns 22 and 23. Also the most turns of any track on the Formula 1 calendar.
Namath and Got Any Weeb set solid laps on the mediums. That's key right there. So it'll set them up in a pretty good spot for the race. You go John across the line. He only goes P8. And looks like everyone else. Looks like Kiero is on a lap. He's in Sector 1 right now. Or actually, I think he just jumped between Got Any Weeb and Namath.
Yes, he did. We had a lot of laps just come in all in a row.
And we're up to 13. Who else joined in the middle of this session? Was it Kiero? We only had 11 when we started. No Warriors joined.
Yeah, I think it was Kiero that joined.
Okay.
Looking at Nico John.
Rocker, where you at?
Looking at Nico John right now on his medium tires. Actually, could probably...
He's already done 1 lap on him. I don't know if he's going for another or not. Looking at the
He's still pushing, yeah. He's still pushing. 2 tenths up. 2 tenths up through Sector 2. Yeah. Although it's one of those things where now you're not going to jump a position, but theoretically it could save you later in the session.
Yeah. When he's 8th, is there... I don't know. I feel like I'd save the tires you're going to start on here and just... if he drops outside the top 10, Figueroa might. I might just... Doesn't prove out 4 tenths.
Yep. Luis Quiroz loses it. I think he actually retired in the pits there.
Yeah.
Got several drivers on outlaps, but that's about it. Actually,
Warriors starting his lap.
Let's jump on board with Warriors, our points leader, on the medium tire. Joining a little bit late to the session, late to the party, but I think on the tire to be on if you want to try to start this race. This is going to be his only lap. He won't get back around in time to get another chance, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you.
26.6 sets Purple Sector 1.
He cut that turn 8 there perfectly. Max, I said, maximizing. Oh, he goes a bit wide there, though. Bit of a mixed lap so far. We'll see. Like I said, he is quick. I'd be surprised to see him jump inside the top 5, even with that mistake. Really cuts all he can there. Just staying within the limits.
I nailed the inside part of the hairpin, though. Teammate Nico John gives him plenty of room down what is the second DRS straight.
Oh, we kind of had to double. And had to double hack at the wheel there. Missed his entry a little bit.
So I believe we have Rockstar starting a lap there. Now I think one of the McLarens will start it right as the time goes out. And whoever that was, I think, got their lap started.
I think we have...
So here we go. What does Warriors do as he crosses the line? It's going to be good. It's going to be P4 on the mediums.
TJ coming through the final turn. What's he going to get? And he's only good for P11. I'll be disappointed in that. Was it Joshua goes P3?
Jump on board. Currently P2. One of the top guys to finish off his qualifying run is Rockstar. Going for the top spot. Already on the front row at the moment, I should say, as Bam Bam is on a lap as well. And Didor. Actually, let's jump on board with Didor. I think he's the next one to cross.
Oh.
He's invalidated. Yep. Let's get Bam Bam, who's gone purple sector 2.
Oh, Rockstar invalidated as well.
So it's pretty much down to Bam Bam and D'Angelo. Bam Bam, a solid lap so far, and man, he's crushing the timing boards heading into the final couple turns. Here we go. Does he do it? Yes, he does in a 136s. Now let's jump on board. D'Angelo is invalidated. Rockstar's invalidated. That's going to be it from everybody. So just like that, at the very end of the session, Bam Bam nicks pole position heading into the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for him, starting on pole, I think the softs are worth it. For, you know, a couple of guys, we'll get to the results here, like Mr. Joshua, maybe even Rockstar. Not so sure, but I think Got Any Weave and Warriors will be pretty happy if they're positioned there on the medium tires. But like I said, with safety cars, who knows? It'll probably end up being a 2-stop anyway. But
I will say that as we take a look at our results heading down the order, there are still open seats left in the Golden Class. So if you are interested in joining this fantastic grid of drivers, head over to the website found in the description below and sign up. We also have TCR Discord server for those wanting to join our TCR community, get into some of the fights during F1 weekends. It's been a good time. Also want to mention our affiliates partners. If you're in the market for some Fanatec products, use the link in the description and you will be supporting TCR in doing so. And additionally, TCR has partnered up with Drink Alchemy for Season 13, providing consistent 100% performances. Head over to Drink Alchemy website and use the code TCR at checkout to save 10% on whatever you're grabbing from Drink Alchemy. All right. Sir Charles, we've got 13 guys on the grid, a dry race in Singapore for possibly the first time in a long time in this game.
Yeah.
And you've got kind of a mixed up grid. You got some guys on the medium tires, got a handful at the front on softs. What are we expecting here, knowing that it is a dry race, but still Singapore can throw anything at anybody?
Yeah, I expect a lot of issues, a lot of guys taking it easy, because you got to manage tire temperatures around here. It's really easy to overheat the tires. Some guys might not be pushing 100% right off the bat, especially guys on softs. The guys on softs will probably be pitting lap 5, 6, 7. You kind of want to get off those as quick as possible, almost. And then they'll be pushing from there. You'll see a lot of, maybe comers and goers of guys who maybe overheat their tires too much at the beginning of the run, and then guys who maybe took care of their tires will be able to, start gaining time, if we get a long green flag run in here. So it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely more of a lot more to just put your head down and push this race. But, I expect the guys in the mediums to have a one stop in mind. But like I said, the safety cars, everything will probably end up being a two-stop race. Do you have any predictions? We'll go for our top 3 predictions. Like I said, if you're watching in the comments, feel free to leave a comment below who you think will win. Give us our top 3 predictions as we're here on our formation lap. So yeah, Perry, who's your podium predictions for today?
I've heard from quite a few people that Bam Bam seems to be the fastest guy. He's starting at pole position. I like Bam Bam in this race, but I'm looking forward to see what anybody can do. We'll look through the order now. Of course, Bam Bam starting up front in that Mercedes. We've got D'Angelo also on softs in this McLaren making up the front row. Rockstar in the Aston Martin in P3. Mr. Joshua is 4th. Gottney Weeb in the Ferrari, I believe the first on medium tires. He's sitting in 5th to start. Orions, the point leader heading into this week, is on the medium tire in P6. We've got Quiroz in P7 in the AlphaTauri, and Namath, Namath, whatever you want to call him, P8 on mediums in the Alpine. Ray Magic's in 9th. Nico Chan caps off the top 10, also on mediums. And then the fresh tire runners, you have in a giggle, P11. Same TJ in the McLaren. A little bit shocked he's this far down the order. Maybe he's a guy to watch in P12. And Didor starts 13th.
Yeah, real quick. Like Rockstar, I know he's really fast on street circuits. I've raced against him last year in silver. I think he's going to finally break through, get his first win. Gottney Weeb, going to be close. I want to say Warriors goes P2 and Gottney Weeb. Mr. Consistency on the podium again. I'm going to say he goes P3. Those are my top 3 predictions for the race. So that probably won't happen. I'll probably just curse those guys, but anyway.
It'll also come down to who can keep at least 2 wheels on the track at all times with the strict corner cutting here on the street circuit. The streets of Singapore, the Marina Bay street circuit, we get lined up 13 cars on the grid. And here we go. Lights are going out on our screen. They're all 5 lit. And they go out, and here we go. Bam Bam. Great start. There's a spinning Red Bull in the background.
Ryan.
But it's Bam Bam into turn 1 in control. D'Angelo follows him for 2nd. We've got a battle for P4 between Gottney Weeb and Mr. Joshua. He's got the inside line. Does Gottney Weeb on those medium tires. And actually, he's fallen back a ways to P5 and now might be P6 on the straight. Warriors gets a spot. We'll take a look back up front, but it should be Bam Bam in control. He's got D'Angelo right on his rear diffuser. So far, a clean start here on lap 1 from Singapore.
Pretty clean, no major damage. Same TJ, big mover from P12 up to P8. Kiero went wide a bit. He lost a few spots, but other than that, everyone kept it pretty safe through those first few corners. No real incidents at the moment.
Did have Ray Magic. He's dropped down to P13 from, I believe, P9 as we look on board of Warrior. Points leader up a spot. Or might have retained position, but either way,
him and Gottney Weeb swap spots.
Yep, so he's in P5. He's got a train of soft runners, but Sir Charles, those tires are going to fall off. It won't take more than maybe 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, they'll be sliding around a couple laps. And this is what you want to see if you're rooting for Warriors. He's putting pressure on the guys in softs already. And like I said, he's in a really good spot here. Like I said, if he's already putting pressure on him and being able to keep up with no problem, he'll definitely have the better tires here. Just a matter of a couple laps.
So we complete lap 1. It is Bam Bam up front. He's got a little bit of a gap to D'Angelo. Just under a second, 7/10. He's got Rockstar as well lurking behind the McLaren.
Yeah, looks like TJ is the closest right now. He's dumping his battery, and he gets past MF there. I wonder if MF just let him go. It's kind of a weird thing to do to let someone go, especially just both on the same tire. That's another spot for TJ. I wonder if NMAF maybe got into the wall and we didn't see it, because he's dropping back pretty quickly. And Kiero's now all over him.
I'm trying to get a little view on that. Meanwhile, Rockstar within 3/10 to and basically pushing D'Angelo through the hairpin. Not sure he got a good enough run to take a look at P2, but he's right on the back of the McLaren for second spot. He's allowing Bam Bam as well to make up some space between him and the rest of the group.
Yeah, so this is a train right here. Pretty much goes all the way through the field from, pretty much D'Angelo all the way down to Didor, really. Ray Magic's the only one that's kind of dropped off the back here. Nico John trying to stay within DRS range, which will get enabled right here. Like I said, with everyone in the train, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Rockstar on D'Angelo might be the main action spot in terms of position change coming onto this long straight coming up as Matt Ryan dives into pits.
So here we go. We're going to jump on board of Rockstar. He's at the front of this train. He's going to have DRS open for the first time in this race. And it should be an easy overtake. Goes to the inside, gets past D'Angelo, locks up a little bit. Gives D'Angelo a chance on the outside. He'll give it a peek, but I think Rockstar's got P2 locked up. And
yeah, definitely. And right now, everyone else behind him are all kind of in the trains. If you're the medium runners, you just got to be really patient right here. You're in a good spot. Just be patient. Don't make any mistakes. I know it's frustrating when you lock into a train like this, but Mr. Joshua has wing damage. He got into the back of.
We actually had the perfect view of that, looking from behind D'Angelo. It was actually one of the first times the absolutely awful camera views works out.
Yeah, so it looks like Mr. Joshua's going to be dropping back and probably diving into the pits here pretty soon, I'd imagine.
This is going to give a chance for Warriors ahead of him to try to create some space to P6, Scotty Weeb.
That's exactly what's happening. It looks like Warriors is able to get a spot there. And Joshua does dive into the pits. And that'll put, again, another spot for TJ, but now he's going to be all over Godini Wee coming in on the run down to turn 8. And Godini Wee probably won't have any ERS either, as Didor already has a penalty. I wonder if that was for speed. That must have been already for track limits.
Yeah, I think that was track limits already. 3-second penalty earlier on.
I was going to say speeding, but he's on mediums.
Here goes Warriors for P3 on D'Angelo, and now the top medium runner is in the podium spots. Although he does open the door back up. TJ gets by for P5, but the door was reopened by Warriors running deep and allowed D'Angelo to retake third place.
That is not what Warriors wanted to see, because I think he needs to put some gap between himself and TJ. And D'Angelo is just kind of the cork in the bottle right here. He's being a good teammate for TJ. I don't know if they're... Oh, and Warriors said there's a crash!
Huge pile up. It's got TJ.
It's got TJ's out.
TJ's out. Warriors is out. And we've got, as well as Alfa Romeo picked up a lot of damage. You have to giggle.
Yeah.
That for sure is going to be a safety car.
And that's frustrating. It is a safety car, and that's frustrating. The decision was made to have ghosting on for the gold class, or not ghosting off, rather. And we usually have it off, but for street circuits, sometimes you do put it on, and I think TJ was a big proponent of having ghosting off. He might be rethinking his position at this point.
We'll take a look at the front of the grid as Bam Bam, yes, he'll come in, use the opportunity to come into the pits and
Now it'll be
put up
interesting.
some fresh tires.
So this will essentially put everyone on the same strategy. Everyone will be going one stop to the end. Again, assuming it goes, any other safety car interventions could throw that whole wrench in the thing. But the guys who are pitting now might have a slight advantage, as D'Angelo's actually got a wing change there. That might explain why he was just a tad bit slow. He might have nicked the wall at some point. And that might, probably explain why he was just a little bit slow there for the big safety car. But these guys are pitting right now for mediums. They'll probably be thinking, medium to the end, where the other guys who, haven't pitted. Which I guess, did everyone come into the pits? Never mind. It's kind of surprising.
Nico John stayed out.
Yeah, that was surprising. I guess I was looking at same TJ and Warriors. Got any weaves? The only other guy, unless he got wing damage. I think most of the guys who were on the medium strategy either pitted because they had wing damage or were knocked out in that incident. I was saying those guys were about to be on a bit of an advantage. They'd be able to go medium to the end, where everyone else would be going medium hard. Yeah, Nico John, this kind of fell into his lap here. We'll see what type of pace he has. He'll be, a little bit slower because he has a little bit older tires, but everyone's kind of on even ground right now. And Namath, interesting here. He's going to the hard tires. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to take those to the end. Again, I think they could go to the end, but they will be very cranky and very slow at the end of the race. All the guys on mediums probably looking for another stop onto another set of mediums. So here's the thing: if you've got any weeb, you're just pitting for another set of mediums. You're going to have to make another. Going into the hards is risky, and I kind of like, I don't know, it's just going to be interesting. Like I said, there'd be multiple strategies. I think Bam Bam and Rockstar are in the best spots, personally.
Yeah, I guess, do you think there's any hope Nico John gets maybe a free stop later and that gives him the advantage, or is he just going to be under attack as soon as we get going?
Yeah, I think he's just going to be under attack as soon as we get going, but like I said, that's kind of what he had to do there. I mean, it's 4 laps. The mediums can definitely go, good ways. They'll probably go half distance, so he won't be like struggling for grip by any means, but he'll just be, a bit slower than the other guys, except for maybe probably still be faster than Inmath. So that could, Inmath could provide a bit of a buffer for him, at least here right on the start. I think Nico John, he's not in a really good position because, like I said, a lot of the guys, he's going to have to make another stop, and we have to put on the hards, you'd imagine. And everyone else, if they make another stop, will probably put on mediums. Unless the caution comes out in 2 laps after this safety car ends, then that might help them. But I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really curious to see how guys like Inmath, Met Ray, and guys towards the bottom on hard tires. I'm real interested to see how they'll be able to carry on here.
Yeah, I mean, Enmath, sitting there in P4, he's got, a really tough job and to keep all those medium runners behind him. But, at some point, if we stay green, he will by far have, better tires as we get down towards the end of the race. But I think that is also a big ask, staying safety car free. It seems like any little incident at this track can bring the safety car out as we get ready to go back racing after the incident on the bridge. TJ and Warriors out. Your top 2 points leaders out. Big chance for everyone else to grab some huge points at a difficult track.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, just, again, mental battle. Just going to have to stay in it. And like I said, 11 guys here. 10 of them are getting points. So just stay in the race. Don't do anything, Get what you can get here.
So we get ready to go green. Nico John's controlling the pace, but he's pretty close to the safety car. It dives down into pit road. And we are back racing at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, starting lap.
Pretty good jump from Bam Bam. Rockstar a long ways back.
And Bam Bam in an attacking position, the leader before relinquished the lead coming into the pits, but now it's all over the back of Nico John, battling for the top spot. Rest of the pack, of course, is
gonna have
pretty
a battle
close.
for P5 here. Kiera went really wide. D'Angelo was able to slip underneath of him.
As Bam Bam powers his way past Nico John quite easily, taking the top spot back out in front.
Yeah, really. That's good pass there from Bam Bam. He's going to look to run for the hills here. He knows he's got, he knows with guys like Rockstar and has pace, and NMAF will have the better tires in a bit. As D'Angelo's looking for another overtake on NMAF here. He's looking to get all he can get on those mediums. Yeah, Bam Bam. I'm trying to trade as much as gap as you can. If you're Nico John, you gotta try your best to stay within DRS range, but he's already fallen out of it, it looks like.
I think Bam Bam is just on rails at this circuit at the moment.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, again, tire management's going to be key. I think he won't have any trouble here, but he's got to be smart, not overheat the tires, and D'Angelo. Sorry, I'm watching D'Angelo here. He's kind of made me a little nervous there. He's looking on NMAF there. As he cuts the corner there, that's probably a warning for him, but that wasn't really a overtaking opportunity. We'll see if he can see how patient Angelo is here.
Bam Bam goes fastest up front. We still will not have DRS yet this lap, so everyone will have to be passing with whatever battery they have as D'Angelo pulls to the outside, looks for that good run on the exit.
He's using the battery. So is NMAF.
NMAF didn't give him a lot of space there. He'll try around the outside.
Enough.
Oh, he just has enough room, and the outside turns into the inside. D'Angelo gets the pass done. That was a great move.
Yeah, that was a great move. You know, he had more grip and was just able to stick it on the outside here. Now, if you're NMAF, again, I think he's got pretty good pace, but he's got to be able to try and do his best to stick with D'Angelo, who seems to have pretty good pace right now. And I think D'Angelo's going to have no trouble getting to the DRS range of Nico John and Rockstar. Nico John, kind of like how despicable Angelo was earlier, it looks like he might be the cork in the bottle here.
Yeah, he's got Rockstar right on his tail, D'Angelo there as well, and then Heroes forming a train behind NMAF, back behind P5.
NMAF just made a little bit of a mistake there.
Oh!
In the stadium section.
Rockstar just tagged the wall. I don't know if he had any wing damage, but his right rear tagged the wall, but I think he's gotten away with it.
Yeah, he's continuing on. That's what, like I said, Rockstar, again, that's going to get him stuck behind Nico John for another lap, and I'll just allow Bam Bam to get further away. So yeah, you got to be patient here, got to be smooth and not make any mistakes. But now Rockstar's going to be under threat from D'Angelo, who tried to get 3 overtakes in 3 laps in the same spot here.
Rockstar looks like he'll be just inside DRS. Yes, he will get DRS still, so that'll help him defend. But D'Angelo has a lot of straight line speed. He'll try to do the same move he just did to get to his spot. He runs a little bit wide, but yes, he stays on the inside. They go side by side.
Still.
Oh man, but D'Angelo gets the job done. What a move. Yeah.
Just squeeze him out a little bit. NMAF lost 2 spots there. I think he was a sitting duck with no DRS. He got overtaken twice. So they'll join the train here, probably behind Rockstar. And NMAF again, he's just got to stay patient and stay calm. Give it, a few more laps. He'll probably have the better tires, or at least equal tires here in a few laps. He's got you having to giggle now to worry about. So
looking up front though, just over 2 seconds between Nico John and Bam Bam. Bam Bam pulling away, but if D'Angelo wants anything to do for the win, he's got to find a way past Nico John. He's got to find a way past. You got to think this next straight.
Yeah, I agree, but I'll give. And like I said, Bam Bam might just be taking it a little bit easier to try to preserve his tires. But Nico John seems to be holding his own fairly well here. He'll probably get overtaken here by D'Angelo. I'm probably going to run down to turn 8. I thought he might have a look there, but he decided not to.
We gave it an aggressive look because we've got yellow flags in Sector 3. Ray Magic is just into the pits there.
Yeah. I think you having to giggle made a mistake. He probably won't be overtaking.
Oh man, D'Angelo got around the outside and got DRS to pull away. Then we've got Rockstar as well joining the fight. He'll get past Nico John as well up into P3. So Nico John 2 spots that DRS straight.
Yeah, now Nico John again. Try and hang on to the back of these guys. Now it'll be interesting to see what the pace like is between D'Angelo and Bam Bam. It'll be interesting to monitor that gap. As well as can Rockstar stick with D'Angelo?
I think the gap is actually coming down. It's coming down a little quickly. I don't know if Bam Bam might have an issue or
really quickly, yeah. But if you look at D'Angelo's also pulling away a lot from Rockstar, so I think D'Angelo might just have this track dialed right now. Is Nico John or NMAF? What happened to Nico John there? I think he lost a few spots. He lost two more spots.
Yep.
So yeah, D'Angelo, and like I said, D'Angelo's pretty quick. Kind of overlooked him a bit in my pre-race predictions there. As Nico John gets sideways, so I think I had D'Angelo in second. Regardless, no, I had Warriors in second. I don't remember what I said, but yeah, D'Angelo, he's quick, but whenever you see someone make up this much time at Singapore, you always gotta worry about the tires. How much of it is pace? Go ahead.
I almost wonder about how much Bam Bam's, maybe burned up his tires as D'Angelo has DRS on the leader. Also, Kiro's battling for Rockstar for P3. And Kiro's diving down the inside. I like how on my screen, Kiro's driver does not have a helmet on. It's just a fire covering and a face.
Yeah, it's the same on mine too.
So maybe it's some sort of new helmet that doesn't exist. But Kiro's up into third place.
New aerodynamic technology. Red Bull Technologies is really.
Oh, we've got a big accident, and it's D'Angelo. He's lost his whole front wing over the bridge, and that's brought out the virtual safety car.
Yeah, and that'll bail D'Angelo out a little bit. He could probably this virtual safety car stays. He'll be able to dive in, probably put on hards, and hope to take those to the end. But that's the back end does come a little light when you come over that bridge section before the hairpin, and it is real easy to lose a tire there. Especially, like I said, if you've been pushing as much as it appears he was. And yeah, now Bam Bam, all these guys can now cool their tires off, reset, and Bam Bam, I'm sure, can breathe easy.
Yeah, just bad luck for both McLarens on the same exact bridge getting damaged, or maybe
Rockstar coming in. Let's see if
Connie Weaves in as well. A lot of drivers in, and D'Angelo gets 5 seconds for speeding.
Well, yeah, that kind of adding insult to injury here. Let's see what Rockstar's doing. Oh, he's getting a wing change. He did pick up wing damage at some point. Who else is in the pits? Nico John's getting off those hards. Probably wishes that VSC came a little bit earlier.
Didor has retired in the pits, which means everybody running here should get points as long as they finish.
Indeed. We'll see what Met Ray's probably hoping for a real safety car. Did you get a message that Rockstar may be disconnected, or did you get a penalty? Or?
I did not see that. As we get back racing, let's see Rockstar. Let's see if we can get his on board. I think he's, that looks like an AI. He might have disconnected there.
Yeah.
But either way, that spices things up and reshuffles the order a bit, but Bam Bam still out in front, 3 seconds ahead of Kiros, who did not pit. And another 5 seconds back to Enmath, who stays, of course, on the hard tires.
I will say, though, you know, I think he's... Oh, and then Nico John gets a penalty. I think Enmath is probably a bit too far back, although these tires will probably start evening off between him and the top two here soon. If he can keep that gap, you know, under, you know, 10 seconds or so to the leader, he could be in a really good spot here. So I imagine the top two still have to pit again. So him and Mr. Joshua might be in a pretty decent spot here. Like I said, it's going to be a big ask to get them hards to the end. It's possible, but...
We've got Nico John that went straight on. I don't know if he got any wing damage, but he went straight on at turn, I believe, 19. And now he continues on, so he didn't get any wing damage, but I mean, he went straight into the wall. I don't know how he's managed that.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's went from, I think, P5 to P9 now.
I think he might have just avoided the contact with the wall there. Alright, Rockstar's asking for a new invite. Let's see if I can...
Meanwhile, on track, his AI is being hunted down by D'Angelo.
And that's unfortunate because the Rockstar's had the worst luck in TCR. He probably should have had a couple wins last year in silver, and just doesn't seem like anything seems to go his way. I can imagine he'd get a win here at some point, but it stinks to see someone who had pace and was looking pretty good to you know, not again probably have a poor result here. I mean, he probably, like I said, if you disconnect, you probably won't get points at this stage. So again, if everyone stays on course, you get 2 points now.
Yeah, for the most part. Looking at Mr. Joshua now, looking at P3, he and Enmath are the two that pitted on hards, so the first safety car, and then stayed out during the VSC. He's just over a second behind the Alpine runner in the right now third spot, although depending on what the tire wear is for these guys, they might have a tough time staying up there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like these two guys up front, you know, they'll pit onto the mediums, and you know, I think they'll be able to hunt those two down pretty easily. I mean, it's 8.5 seconds, almost 9 seconds from Hero back to Enmath, so yeah, I just don't see that holding. I mean, it'll be almost 2 seconds a lap faster for the first few laps after they pit, so.
Yeah, not a lot of close running on track. I mean, outside of Rockstar's AI, you've got Nico John right behind. You have a Giggle, both on hard tires, battling for P8. And then Kiro's. Yes, Kiro's staying about a second and a half behind Bam Bam.
Yeah, Nico John is carrying that penalty as well. And another thing is D'Angelo's carrying 5 seconds for speeding. I'd imagine Nico John would be able to make pretty good work of you having a Giggle here. Probably not right here. We'll probably wait till the run to turn 8. Turn 7, rather.
Just got to be careful through Sector 3. We'll say at the front, it's staying pretty close between Kiros and Bam Bam, about just over a second at the moment.
We got a yellow flag.
I think that's Rockstar.
Yeah, I don't know what that was for, actually. That was kind of weird. So looking at the map, you know, AI kept on moving, so. Yeah, Kiero almost within DRS range of Bam Bam. He is now. They are both pulling away still from Enmath and Mr. Joshua. Mr. Joshua's probably looking to get around Enmath here pretty soon. Nico John probably isn't close enough to have a go at you having a giggle here. And
Watch on board Kiro. I think Bam Bam's got maybe a lower downforce setup, and that advantage, let him wear the tires down to a point. But now now it's kind of hurting him into the slower sections. He still felt like he maybe gained a half tenth or a tenth, even with Kiro's getting DRS there. But now Kiro's within 8/10 of the leader.
Yeah, we'll see how patient he is, how much he wants to push. I imagine he's trying to get past him here as soon as possible.
Got a fantastic run out of the final corner. Now he's going to be right nose to tail behind the Mercedes of Bam Bam. And I thought someone a bit like Bam Bam would have run away with this, and Kiros, meanwhile, has battled his way through the pack, avoided some accidents, now has a run on the leader. Will he have enough, though?
Yeah, both of them were using battery, and you saw that Kiros did not gain at all, so maybe Bam Bam is using a bit of a lower downforce setting. As Joshua on NMAF here, he's going to have a lunge into turn 7. And they are still side by side, but Josh gets the position there.
Joshua took
he's now deleting. Yeah, so he's now deleting Hard Runner.
So we'll see what Mr. Joshua can do. As further back down the field, Nico John has his DRS open, trying to find a way past you having a giggle. Although he's not close enough yet. Maybe made up a little bit of time, but not enough.
Yeah, it seems like Nico John is definitely quicker than you having a giggle, but he just keeps on getting poor runs through the first part of Sector 1 and just kind of a little too far back on the run down to turn 7.
Just over halfway is, I think, Bam Bam locks up once again.
Long race.
It is a long race, and we're just over halfway home.
There's a long way to go, so a lot can happen.
I think Mr. Joshua has actually caught up a little bit to this leading group as Kiros goes way deep, almost catches at the back of Bam Bam into turn 1.
This is when you wonder, does some of these guys maybe have a little bit. It's really easy to pick up just a little bit of wing damage that kind of nicks front wing that you can't really see on screen. I kind of wonder if someone like NMAF maybe had some of that, because he was keeping up for a while, but then he dropped back, and Joshua was able to keep up with him pretty quickly there. Maybe the same with Bam Bam. D'Angelo sets the fastest lap on the hards. That's impressive. It shows still showing off his pace. Like I said, he does not have track position, and he has a 5-second penalty. Yeah, Mr. Joshua seems to be the fastest guy. Well, not the fastest guy on track, but definitely, out of the top 4 right now. Definitely one of the faster guys. This Hero has a bit of a lock up there into the hairpin.
I also think, too, it's going to be difficult if Mr. Joshua can keep something close to this pace for the next 10 laps or so. It'll be difficult for these guys to come into the pits and then try to overtake him, as well as getting past NMAF.
Yeah, I think I don't know. The pit delta is what, about 23 seconds here? I think that's what it is, roughly. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but they'll be so much faster in like the first 4 or 5 laps. I still see Mr. Joshua still has a tall task ahead of him to, 1, keep these guys behind him, and 2, whoa!
Heroes, yes,
spins it, and he's lucky he didn't take Bam Bam with him.
Bam Bam missed the turn in turn 1 just because I think he just got ran from behind, and
yeah,
that's really surprising from Kiros. I thought he would be someone who was going to wait. He was content on waiting the last time through, and now he's lost over 6 seconds to Bam Bam, and has fallen into really within range of Mr. Joshua here.
Yeah, this has been, that's just a mental error on Kira's part. And like I said, before the race started, this is a mental test as much as it is a skill test for these drivers, just because it's the longest race of the year and the wall's always so close. And I think just a bit of a lapse there from Kiero. And I mean, if you look at Bam Bam, I mean, so far this race, he's sat on pole, kept it clean, and just everything seems to be falling in one line for him. Just, it'll be interesting to see what his pace is. I'd imagine they'd be pitting, like right now, as it'll come to 13 to go. It's probably the opportune time for these guys to pit.
I mean, it'd be splitting their tires right down the middle.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. Bam Bam stays out on the medium tires.
I'm Kiero, I pit now, get a little bit of an undercut, and he stays out. That's interesting.
They might try to throw on another set of softs, maybe? I'm just trying to think.
They'd have to wait. I just don't... I think the move now would be to pit right now for mediums. Especially if you're... I'm surprised Kiero didn't there, although Kiero is gaining a lot. See, I wonder if Bam Bam has maybe a little bit of wing damage, because Kiero is gaining a lot. He gained like 9/10 of a second that last lap, despite having overheated tires, so...
Yeah, that could be very, very well. So we have kind of a train forming behind Rockstar's AI car.
Could this finally give Nico John a chance to pass you having a giggle? He's been stuck there for a while.
Also got Ray Magic caught up behind them in P10.
He's on mediums, on 8-lap old mediums, so probably... I think he'd try and take those to the end, although like I said, they'll be very cranky at the end, those tires will be. Yeah, if you're wanting to put on softs, you'll have to wait another 5 laps or so, 4 or 5 laps. I just don't know if that's worth it, in my opinion.
I say Rockstar's AI is battling pretty hard, and then he gets hit into the wall while you having a giggle. If it is Rockstar's AI, it might not be. It might be Rockstar's.
I think Nico John might have damage. Well, let's take a look, see if we can get.
Yes, he does. He's got an end plate missing on the left side.
I wonder if that happened when you having a giggle shoved Rockstar's AI into the wall there. He had let Matt Ryan by, which he probably a good move there with wing damage. But yeah, I wonder if that's what. It is frustrating because the AI does tend to put up a bit of a fight, as I found out, unfortunately, last week at Austria, or 2 weeks ago. The AI can put up a bit of a fight, and it's annoying because you just kind of want to... They break super early, and you just kind of want to shove them out of the way.
Yeah, and it's caused kind of a big group of cars right now back in Sector 3. Meanwhile, up front, Kieros is, hunting down Bam Bam. Was what, 4 or 5 seconds behind after the incident. Now it's only 2.
He gained 2 seconds at the last lap. I wonder what is going on. And it looks like, they stayed out another lap. I wouldn't, Rockstar's AI pits. I wouldn't imagine they'd be taking a mediums to the end, right? That's not going to happen, right?
They might be trying it. I don't know if it's going to work, but they might be trying it. I don't think it'll happen.
That's insane. On this track, especially as Kiero makes probably the first mistake he's made the past couple laps. But he still didn't really lose that much time. But yeah, if you're looking at Mr. Joshua now just 9 seconds behind the leader. Mr. Joshua definitely faster than Bam Bam. I don't think he's faster than Kiero.
They gotta be throwing on softs at this point. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I kind of agree. That might be the strategy, in which case they'll be a lot faster than Mr. Joshua.
They both stay out, though, another time around.
Now, I will say, I speculate the NMAF might have damage. I don't think that's the case, because he's only 2 seconds behind Mr. Joshua. So he's got, at least decent pace. Maybe just a couple tenths slower than Mr. Joshua, so I think he's in a pretty good spot as well right now.
I think we were going to have a shock winner regardless once we had the TJ Warrior incident, and I think we could have an especially shocking winner if things play out the way they could in terms of the top 4.
Yeah, definitely. And then you got any weebs faster than in math for Mr. Joshua, but I just don't think he's fast enough to catch him. Although, like I said, those tires are gonna, once those tires really start falling off, I mean, only 7 laps, so I'm not sure that will make that much of a difference. But yeah, it's about Mr. Joshua makes a slight mistake. It looks like, but he's still, I mean, looking at it now, again, only 9 seconds behind the leader.
Let's see, his general question. Joshua is a guy who races silver, right? Or no, he's full-time Alfa Romeo. His best finish is 6th this year.
Yeah. Rockstar, if you are watching this, he's left a couple comments. I did try to invite you back, but I got an error message when I tried, so does not seem to be working there, unfortunately, which, like I said, really unfortunate for Rockstar. I think he definitely would have been in the mix if he's top 4, I believe.
Meanwhile, on track, Heroes is in DRS range once again of Bam Bam. And we just gotta find a way past the Mercedes.
Yeah, I think he's too far back at this point, but give it another lap. See, the thing is, the longer these guys go, the further they'll be behind Mr. Joshua, and they're leaving themselves less and less laps to make up that time, and the way the softs fall off, again, unless they're trying to take these tires to the end, which could be another explanation as why Bam Bam's going so slow, he's just really babying the tires as D'Angelo comes into the pits.
I mean, they would have to go, what, almost 20, they would have to go basically 24, 25 laps on these tires.
I mean, 16 plus 9, throw in another lap because it doesn't count the first lap for some reason. You got 25 laps. I mean, that's... I would say I don't think that's possible, and I'm still speculating that they have to make another stop, right?
You'd think they'd have to. I mean, it's got to be. As Nico John sets the fastest lap, he came in and pit for Fresh Medium's last lap, so might get a little bonus point. Ooh, Bam Bam ran really wide there.
And that'll be 3 points for him because he should get ahead of Rockstar. So that'll be good for him.
Really
he unfortunately got there. Oh, that's a little naughty from Kiero there.
Yeah, it's a bit late of a dive in, but nevertheless he comes in. Meanwhile, this is going to hand Mr. Joshua 2nd place at the moment, just 6 seconds up the road from Bam Bam.
He's putting on the softs. That's going to be a stretch. 8 laps on the softs, or 9 laps. That's going to be a stretch. I think he just didn't want to get... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, he's got any weave as well in 10-lap hards. And
yeah, I don't see this working out for him. I think he should have pitted a bit... I think he definitely should have pitted a bit earlier for the mediums if I was him. He probably just didn't want to get stuck behind Bam Bam again. Yeah, I really think Mr. Joshua is in a really good spot right here. I just don't see Kiero making up this time.
It's going to be really hard. I think he could get the Godney Weeb fairly easily, maybe Nmath, but yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, because I mean he'll be 2 or 3 seconds a lap faster for like 3 laps, but then those stalls fall off hard, and they'll be hurting lap 30, 31 here.
We'll look on board of Bam Bam and see what he's deciding to do. He's lost about a second this lap alone to Mr. Joshua. He's got 8 laps if he wants to try to stay on these tires.
One good thing is that Kiero will get the undercut on Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam Bam's coming in.
Alright, so let's take a look at Mr. Joshua's lap times. 142.7, once they call it 142.8. And we'll ride on board here with Kiero, who will almost certainly set the fastest lap of the race right here.
He won't because he was coming out of the pits, but
yeah,
the next
lap.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to get a lap time comparison here, but he did set purple sectors 2 and
He'll
3.
be well ahead of Bam Bam. Bam Bam just clears the pits now as Quiros is in turn 3.
Yeah, Quiros cut off about 3 seconds from Ganani Weeb that last lap.
He got about 6 seconds on Bam Bam. That is insane of an undercut.
Bam Bam has to have damage. I wonder if Bam Bam... Well, it would probably be more than 6 seconds if he got a wing change, I'd imagine. But, yeah. So Angelo sets the fastest lap. That will not stand. As Kiero is on probably his flyer.
Well, I guess we'll see what Quiros can do putting on these tires. I will say, too, for Mr. Joshua and NMath, is it'll be, you know, that's a long time with the hards as well. You know, the hards will last forever, but it's still going to be 24, 25 laps on the hard tires.
This is just a stay calm and hit your marks moment for these guys. Coming to 7 laps to go. Yeah, we'll get Joshua's time at the line again. It was a 42.8 last time. The 42.9 this time. We'll get Quiero's lap time.
Quiero's, he's a second and a half up through sector 2 of his fastest time.
Only a 40.1, yeah. That's not going to be enough, unfortunately. At least I don't want it, because his pace is only going to drop off, and I'm surprised he didn't set the fastest lap there, if I'm being completely honest. Meanwhile, Bam Bam, I wonder if Bam Bam did get a wing change. Bam Bam has actually gained a little bit on Quiero now. Unless Quiero hit the wall and I didn't see it, which he might have, because Bam Bam's gaining pretty rapidly here.
Oh, and Quiros gets a 3-second penalty. That could do it. Even if he catches the leaders, that's going to catch him out. That's
the nail in the final coffin right there. Points if you get that reference, but anyway. Now we'll take a look at Bam Bam's time here. Again, I think Bam Bam might just have enough time to catch Godney Weed. I don't see him catching the top 2.
He's got 17 and a half seconds to catch for the leader, so I think that's a bit out of the question. Might catch 3rd.
And Bam Bam's really gaining on Quiero's now. I think Quiero might have hit the wall as well. See if he dives into pits here. He's going to try and tough it out here.
Yeah, he did a 142.8.
Yeah, Bam Bam 138.7.
So it's a
four,
lot faster.
I mean, he's 4 seconds faster than the leaders right now. Bam Bam is, but I mean, you know, 6 laps to go. You know, probably a little too late, I think.
D'Angelo gets a couple points, getting up to P7. Past you having a giggle. So it has been a rough day for him, but he is still fighting for whatever points he can grab at this point.
And now the roles are reversed as Quiero is the damaged car in front of Bam Bam. It'll be interesting to see. I want to ask Bam Bam if he gets on a podium if he did have damage there. He's definitely, I mean, even before Quiero hit the wall, it looked like Bam Bam suddenly had an injection of pace, or maybe his setup's just really mean to tires. I don't know. It'll be interesting to get his take. Of course, he's got to get around Quiero and run down. Got to lead first.
He's got plenty of speed and the outside line. He's got it up into P4.
I think Quiero realizes the writing's on the wall and just kind of let him have it. Looking at the gap behind him. How was Quiero? I just pit now and put on a fresh set of softs. He'll come up behind Metre, but with a fresh set of softs, he'll be able to get the fastest lap and probably get him back. You would think. So I would have done that a lap earlier in P5. at this point of the tournament.
Mr. Joshua just did a 142.7, Bam Bam a 147. So 2 seconds a lap faster, but we're down to 5 laps left. So even at that pace, if there was nobody between them, Bam Bam would be 3 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, and Bam Bam's pace is only going to fall off a bit more towards the end. Bam Bam has no ERS left either. Joshua, I feel like it's been a while since he's gotten a win.
It hasn't been this season. So, and this would be, huge points for him. Looking at the points table right now, he's got 8 points heading into this week, which puts him at P18 in the standings.
This would be a good result for NMAF as well. He had a P4 in the opening round at Monza. It was probably a bit faster than that, but it's been a bit of a rough stretch for him since. And this will be definitely a good result for him. And assuming he can hold on to P2. We don't want to commentators curse anybody, but like I said, it's been a long green flag run. Like I said, it's the mental test that's really coming into play here. And these guys see a finish line.
The odds of these guys having a warning or two heading into these final laps, knowing you got to hit your marks, but you're also trying to push every ounce you can out of the car, out of the tires. It is truly the ultimate test here at Singapore.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, NMAF actually has, I stand mistaken, actually has 3 fourth place finishes on him. So she's probably thinking, okay, just don't do anything dumb here. I'll finally get on the podium. I hate being Mr. Fourth Place.
Yeah, you also got to think Gani Weave. He's done a great job. He got second in Austria. Of course, he's still looking for that elusive TCR win, but I'm sure if he can find a way to get P3, it will be tremendous for him. But he's going to have to hold off a Bam Bam on a lot fresher tires, still with 3 laps left.
It'll also be big for Ferrari. The constructors still close within 3 points of Williams if he's able to hang on to this result. Or 2 points of Williams, rather, because Ivorian's crashing out. Nico John only in 9th.
Yeah.
So for constructors, points as well. McLaren also having a bad day. They're the only other ones that were in contention, are pretty close to the lead constructors. Mercedes is going to gain a few points, probably, but not on Ferrari. Looks like the top 2 are pretty comfortable, and I think Gani Weave's going to have pressure from Bam Bam here shortly. Bam Bam only has about 20% ERS left. What's Gani Weave have? He has about 45%, so he's got a little bit left in reserve.
As we get down to 3 laps left here from Marina Bay in the gold class of TCR. It's been an interesting race to start. It's been much more of an endurance, long battle, strategies playing out. And right now, the one playing out perfectly for Mr. Joshua and for NMath and for Gani Weave. Those guys elected to pit on the hard tires, said we'll lack pace at the start, but we won't have to come in the rest of the way. Right now, it is paying off for them as we tick down to the final few laps.
Gani Weave's probably kicking himself a little bit. He could have put the hards on under that first safety car, but elected not to. But yeah, he has almost ran these guys down. You remember, he was 20 seconds back of NMAF at one point. You can see him now. I think it's going to be too little too late, but
he's gotten there for the most part.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't think we're completely safe Although I don't really see any issues looking at Mr. Joshua's tires, but you could always get, you know, the rare puncture or two at the end of these races.
With the hards,
It's hard to do, but it's. I mean, if you leave them on for as long as these have been on.
It looks like Got Any Weeb might have Bam Bam's number here. Bam Bam's probably overheated in soft spit. Maybe got into the wall a little bit.
So here we go, 2 laps left. Mr. Joshua, after the top 2, Bam Bam Kiros had to pit for softs. Mr. Joshua has been out in front and has maintained a gap.
So I hate to interrupt you, but You Having a Giggle just got a 3-second time penalty, and Nico John is 3.5 seconds back. Nico John also has a penalty, so that might not... Yeah, that's not going to make a difference between those two, so... Although, if Nico John can catch him, which he is catching him pretty quickly, I wonder if You Having a Giggle might have gotten into a wall there. Yeah, might have a
battle somewhere on the track.
Yeah.
Mr. Joshua starts his final lap of the race, and again, a guy who will tremendously take the points up for grabs today. We had Warrior and TJ crash out in the first safety car early on in this race. We had another virtual safety car for D'Angelo and Mr. Joshua, who through our first 5 races of the season has picked up 8 points. He had a 6th place finish at Paul Ricard, and now finds himself sitting in the driver's seat, sitting in P1 at the Singapore Grand Prix. A long, grueling track that rewards...
Looks like we're going to have a overtake for P8, Nico John. You Having a Giggle does have wing damage. Nico John's able to make that pass pretty easily. That's crucial. 2 points there for the constructors.
So a little bit more of a bonus there for Nico John for staying in this race as we start the final 3rd sector. I actually do have Got Any Weeb catching NMath for P2 just a little bit, but let's head into the final set of corners. What a drive for the Alfa Romeo driver at the Singapore Grand Prix, picking up a big boatload of points. It's Mr. Joshua with the win in gold class and TCR. NMath comes home in 2nd for the podium. Got Any Weeb takes home the final spot, and the strategy not working out for Bam Bam. He'll settle for 4th position. Kiro's dealing with that wing damage. He'll cross the line in P5.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if maybe Bam Bam, if they would have pitted a little bit earlier, would the story been a little bit different? I think it very well could have been. NMath was obviously struggling there at the end, but I think more than anything, he just knew that he wasn't going to catch Joshua and just kind of wanted to get the podium. Got Any Weeb. I said he'd finish 3rd. I got that prediction right. I don't want to say what happened to the other 2, but
So look at Nico John crossing the line on track in P8.
You Having a Giggle. Last of the finishers here.
Rockstar's AI will not collect any points back in P10, but man, what a pretty good race. We had an interesting result. We had some chaos in the points leaders, and that opened the door for Mr. Joshua taking home the win, and a couple others with NMath, Got Any Weeb grabbing some surprise podium spots. And like I said, I thought Bam Bam was the fastest guy, and he doesn't even get on the podium.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I said very diverse strategies there, and it just, again, that, like I said, I think tire management played keys. Those guys, top two, definitely did that. Um, got any weed, I think he might have had to pace on him, but his strategy didn't quite work out. I don't think. Will be interesting to hear his comments. But yeah, definitely an interesting result. I'll work on getting those guys invited there in a second for our podium interviews.
Also, let me know if you can. I tried a different type of party, so it might be I might need to invite him. So
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll see what I can do. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm friends with any of these guys, so I'll have to actually type it out here. Math 37. All right, so I added podium guys. It looks like at least two of them have joined. I think. Actually, not just saying. I've added them. Mr. Joshua is here.
okay, yeah, I think so far Mr. Joshua's the only one to join. We'll see if more join. We'll give him a little bit. So make sure, Mr. Joshua, your audio is set to share, then we'll be good.
Yep, should be set to share.
Awesome.
All right, so got any weeb. His mic died post race or mid race, so he won't be able to get on.
That's right, more time for me then.
Um,
All right. Well, I think we might as well
so
just
it's
get started while we can, and because we
a
know Gani we
little,
yeah Gani we
yeah.
probably won't join. So we'll talk with our race winner, Mr. Joshua. P1, and it's a huge win for you, man. I mean, you went with the hard tires after the first safety car, and that was pretty much it. You had great pace for that, battling with the other hard tire runners, and everybody else had to pit an extra time. You didn't. You inherited the lead that way, and it is it's a win for you. I mean that's tremendous. Your best finish going into this week in the championship was P6. So, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I've really struggled on F1 2021 for some reason. After coming along pretty well in 19 and learning no line last year, so it's finally good to put something together on this game. So it's for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm just missing the setups or hitting the gas too hard and spinning out more often than not. I started P2 in Austria and crashed on lap 6, so it's finally good to put a race cleanly together. So
So you had to avoid some carnage. We had the top two in the championship, TJ and Warrior had a coming together there, which caused the first safety car. Those early laps, what were those like running? Close. There was quite a terrain forming in that point of the race.
yep. So it's on lap 3. I think I ran into the back of D'Angelo towards the hairpin over the bridge, and I got wing damage, so I had to pit a lap early. And then the next lap, that's when the safety car came out. So I was near the back anyway. I'd went around, everybody else had pitted, and I think I came out 9th out of 11th. And that's the next lap. That's when I went in for the hards. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be this far back, I might as well just try and get to the end of the race. And that ended up working. My specialty is more consistent long runs anyway, more than one lap pace. So that really played into my advantage. And once we got down to 5 laps to go, it was just more about managing the gap more than outright pace.
You also had quite a long time on those hard tires. The hardest compound that can last quite a while. But
Yep.
were you worried they weren't going to last? What percentage
Nope.
were they were at for you?
They were just shy of 40. So I did some research before the race, and I think Cody's had suggested they would last about 28 laps, which was nearly the entire race. And then I put them on, I think, on lap 5 or 6. So I really wasn't worried about the wear. I still tried to take care of them just because the fresher they are, the better they are. So
That's amazing. 40%. That's surprising on
yep,
my end, but
Yeah.
maybe a good hint for anybody who's racing Platinum tomorrow.
yep.
So,
It's once that restarts, you could definitely see the mediums pull away. But I mean, the hards were nice and consistent. My lap times didn't fall off that much, and you keep the nose out of the wall, and you can go a long ways here.
awesome. Well, congrats on the win. So, Charles, got any final questions for a race winner?
Uh, yeah, just, well, when was your last, is this your first TCR win? And if so, when was your last one?
I believe this is my first one. I don't think I've been on the podium a couple
Okay.
times golden last year, a couple times in platinum last year. This year I can't race on Thursdays, so I believe this is my first win.
Awesome, man. Congratulations again. And like I said, that was very smart drive, and you were extremely consistent out there.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, you definitely earned this one.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Well, congrats to Mr. Joshua. We'll head over now to NMath and NMath. I know that your English is definitely not your first language, but I guess how are you feeling with the second place finish today?
Yeah, it was sort of crazy. I didn't know that I would be in the top 10. I didn't have the pace with those hard tire. And but I knew that I would do a medium hard, so it was in my head before the race, and yeah, it was kind of a good strategy.
Yeah. How was the strategy call for you going on the hard so early?
Well, I knew I did a race before, and I started on soft, and I knew that the hard will do. I think at lap 5 or 6 will do for the rest of the race. So I knew that it was possible, and when I saw the safety car, it popped in my head. I just go for it because I knew there was a lot of players that would do a two stop. So I knew I didn't have the pace, so I wanted to do the minimum, yeah, the minimum to be in a better place at the end.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the standings, you came into this race in sixth, and taking home second, your best finish so far this year. It's going to really boost you in the points. So I guess how does it feel taking away that many points at a tough track like Singapore?
Yeah, it's very good. I think I missed two races before, so I knew that I had to do quite a lot of points to be fighting for some position in the standings. So, yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with with today.
Awesome. Well, great job tonight, and Matt. It was an exciting race, and look forward to keeping up with you and the rest of Gold Class the rest of the year. Sir Charles, any final questions for NMath?
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of just reiterate. You have three fourth place finishes coming in tonight. Does it feel good to finally get on the podium?
I knew that you would be asking that, but yeah, it's nice. Like I said, I didn't know that I will be on the podium here. I didn't have the pace, and yeah, to be finally on the podium, I'm quite happy. Yeah.
All right, well, good deal. You certainly earned it tonight again. Like I said, ran a smart race and stayed out of trouble, which is half the battle around here.
Yep. So thank you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, NMath, for joining us, and yeah, like I said, looking forward to covering Gold Tier the rest of the year. Of course, Godney Weeb unable to join us with some microphone issues for him, but he took home the final spot on the podium in his Ferrari for P3. As that'll wrap it up for podium interviews. It's been an exciting. It has still been a long race at Singapore, but we knew that going in, Sir Charles. So it's been fun hosting this with you. And yeah, just any final thoughts?
Yeah, it was kind of like we predicted. It was a war of attrition, and some guys faltered, other guys didn't, and the guys who played it cool were able to stick it out, and a little bit of strategy, and for Singapore standards, it's a pretty quick race, 55 minutes, but it's definitely the longest race we'll have on the calendar, barring
That
any.
still took a while to drive. I give
Oh
those
yeah,
drivers credit in real life. They got their work cut out for them on that race.
oh yeah, definitely.
Well,
So
they've been able to skimp out with it with COVID the past two seasons, but cross our fingers we'll have a Singapore Grand Prix in Formula One this
Yep.
season.
That's always a good race to watch, in my opinion.
Yep. So as yeah, that'll wrap us up for TCR Gold Class. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, on Twitch, for Trinity Competitive Racing. Of course, we've got the Platinum Class coming up at 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central, 4:45 Pacific, or no, 5:45 Pacific tomorrow night. So be sure to tune into that. I'm Perry the Dog. Sir Charles is with me. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to call it a night. So, everybody have a good rest of your Wednesday evening, and we'll catch up with